Every trail here feels like a journey through something timeless. These massive rock formations were formed by ancient volcanoes, and over millions of years, they've been shaped by time, wind, and weather, creating a unique beauty that feels out of this world. This otherworldly beauty is what I'm achieving to capture. Not only am I here today to explore and photograph these unique landscapes, I am here with a vision to connect these ancient rock structures with their past. A past without light pollution, one where technology didn't exist and we spent more time admiring the stars. A time where we could see the Milky Way with our naked eye and appreciated the sheer vastness of the galaxy compared to the landscapes. Pinnacles is an officially designated dark sky reserve, an area that's perfect for viewing and photographing the Milky Way and the night sky. Join me as I spend the next 2 days and nights away from civilization in my pursuit to capture and share the beauty of the night sky in Pinnacles National Park. What's up everyone? Welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're here in Pinnacles National Park and we just finished setting up the tents and we're gonna go on a quick hike under some caves. We did get here a bit later in the afternoon, so we're not gonna do too much today, but we have some big plans for tomorrow. We're gonna go on like a long 8 to 9 mile hike. I'm hoping tonight to do some Milky Way photography. There is a spot that I went to a couple years ago. I'll show you guys what the picture I got now in 2023. This was shot on my Nikon D3500. It was a nice big panorama, attractive panorama that I took. Unfortunately, since it is later in the year, it's September, the Milky Way core is gonna be behind the horizon, so I'll be getting more of the Great Rift portion, but I'm hoping to get some shots tonight at that same spot. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm gonna go scout it today before we go out there tonight. So gonna take it chill, go on some hikes, and then I'll keep you guys updated with how this trip goes. Pinnacles is a great place to view the night sky because there's very little light pollution from nearby cities, which are indicated by the brighter green, yellow, and red colors you can see in the light pollution map. It's important to get as far away from the light pollution as you can to see better quality skies and view the Milky Way galaxy with a naked eye. Pinnacles is also a great place for photographers due to the unique geology of the area because it's located near the San Andreas Faultline. Trails from all around the park feature walkable caves formed from earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that happened millions of years ago, which caused the tectonic plates to massively shift over time. My goal for this trip was to capture the unique geology of this area featuring its beautiful night skies. But first, I need to scout the park to find where exactly the Milky Way would be located. Our first hike for the day started off going through some really cool cave structures. I was keeping an eye out for potential Milky Way compositions and immediately stumbled upon these huge rock formations. I pulled out my phone to use photo pills to check the alignment of the Milky Way, and to my luck, the Milky Way was going to be setting right over the rocks. I couldn't believe how perfect the alignment was and knew I had to come back later in the night to capture it. But first, we need to finish the rest of our hike through these epic caves. It is super dark in here, like without a flashlight you can barely see. Alright guys, we just got to the spot for tonight and I found this really cool rock formation on the hike that we were doing earlier. So I haven't taken any shots yet. I literally just set up the camera, so I'm going to take some test shots now. And the Milky Way is aligning like perfectly over the rock right now. It's just going to be the Great Rift portion of the Milky Way. So of course there's no battery in my camera, so that's not going to work. 1 second, I will be back with a fresh battery. All right. We got the battery fully charged. Let's hope the SD card's in there, because that would be a disaster. And I'm using the Nikon Z7 today with the 20mm f1.8 lens. I'm just gonna do some test shots at a higher ISO f1.8 just to see what the composition's looking like here. Oh, that looks super good, guys. I am hyped on this. I might go with a longer focal length actually, because I want to really bring out the detail in those two rocks. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is actually use both cameras. I'm going to probably set up the 35mm lens on my Nikon Z6 II, and also maybe get a time lapse of the Milky Way with that 35mm going over the rock formation here. But first I need to find a good composition with the 20mm here that I can use for a long exposure. I don't think I'm gonna bust out the star tracker tonight. I don't really wanna deal with it, and there's actually not a lot of clearance of the sky in the direction that I need to set up the star tracker. So I'm probably gonna end up doing some stack shots for tonight. So basically take like 50, 60 photos, stack those together, bring some high quality out of the sky, and then I'll do a longer exposure for the foreground that I can blend into that. So with that being said, I'm gonna work on this composition here, keep you guys updated, and let's hope tonight goes well. All right, so the views are absolutely insane up here. As you guys can see behind me is some of the most unique and iconic rock structures of this area. So you can see why it's so widely visited. Almost looks like Arizona, Utah type landscapes out here. Super, super hot, but we're making it further to the top, and the trail is just going all the way around, and I think it's gonna go up on top of those rocks. So I'll keep you guys updated, but the views are looking awesome. During our second day here in Pinnacles, we decided to hike up to the peaks where we can get a better view of the spectacular rock structures. As the trail climbed higher, the views just kept getting better and better. You start seeing the valleys spread out below, the hawks circling overhead the rocks, and those golden California hills stretching off into the distance. A 10-mile round-trip hike, but totally worth it to see these views. Look at that. Insane views. So unfortunately, as much as I would have loved to capture the night sky above these iconic rock structures that we found during our hike, it is actually illegal to camp overnight at the peaks where these rocks are located. Now, normally this wouldn't stop me. However, this hike was incredibly strenuous and the weather was too extreme for us to lug all of that camera gear up here, which meant we were gonna have to find another location closer to the campsite to shoot for the night and potentially come back another time to do some astrophotography up in the peaks of Pinnacles. All right, everyone, so we made it to the Milky Way spot for the night, and this is just right down the street from our campsite. We didn't want to go too far since we did like a 10 or 11 mile hike today, so we're both pretty dead. But
you know, we're making do with what we have. It's not the best composition, but the Milky Way core is fully out right now. It's going to be kind of setting behind this hill, so we'll be getting more of the Great Rift portion of the Milky Way. But my goal for tonight is to use the star tracker. So I'm going to have a chance to pull out that star tracker, and oh, I just saw a shooting star. That was sick. I'm gonna pull out that star tracker and I'm gonna try to get some long exposures of the Milky Way. I'm thinking about just using the 20mm lens with my Nikon Z7 and just do some longer exposures. And keeping it simple, just do a longer exposure for the foreground and a simple blending composite in post. So that's the goal for tonight. We'll see if I get up to anything else, like maybe shooting some time lapses, possibly on the other camera that I have here. But for right now, I'm gonna get setting up to this star tracker, and we'll see how the rest of the night goes.
Tonight, I am using an iOptron Skyguider Pro Star Tracker to capture the Milky Way and the Move Shoot Move green laser attachment for the iOptron that made it incredibly easy to find Polaris and align the star tracker. I'm also using the Allen Wallace Move Shoot Move Z mount to provide a level surface for the camera. And I'm shooting with the Nikon Z7 with a 20mm lens in portrait mode to try and capture as much of the Milky Way in the frame as possible with a single shot.
Now that I have the tracker set up, we're gonna take some test shots to see how long I can push those exposures. Planning on doing vertical shots, maybe a vertical panorama. We'll see. I might end up doing a horizontal panorama too. I'm just gonna see how these compositions are looking. But I kind of just wanna keep it simple for tonight and just do a simple single track shot for the sky and then single foreground shot for the foreground. But I'll keep you guys updated with that. I'm gonna go ahead and take some test shots now and see how these look. All right, so Milky Way is like really vertical right now, so it's gonna be super easy to get a nice track shot and get like a lot of the Great Rift portion of the Milky Way. So I don't even think I'm gonna do a panorama. I think I'm just gonna do a single track shot. The sky single shots are looking pretty good. Yeah, looking super good. It's gonna be pretty challenging to do a blend with this because it's not a straight horizon and the Milky Way is setting on the hill. So that's gonna be something that is gonna be a bit tricky with the post editing. But I think it's gonna be okay if I just do like a single track shot, especially if I don't push the exposure too long. But I'm gonna see how long I can push this tracker for. I got the tracker set up pretty well, so I think I'm gonna be able to push it 4 or 5 minute exposures. So we'll see how this goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. We had a fantastic time here at Pinnacles National Park. Honestly, I haven't been here for a couple years and it did not fail to disappoint. The geographic rock structures that you can find here are just super beautiful. And we're gonna be planning a backpacking trip here soon up so that we can take those Milky Way pictures and really display the Milky Way over the Toronto Pinnacles, or not the Toronto Pinnacles, the California Pinnacles. And those awesome rock structures. So stay tuned for a video next year. We'll possibly be doing that during the springtime. But tonight was a pretty good image session as well. It ended up being super clear skies the entire night. So super fun to take pictures, and I ended up going with some track shots. I'll chuck in a couple time lapses in there as well if those end up turning out any good. But pretty much just kept it simple with tonight and just did some tracked sky exposures and some long exposures for the foreground and doing some simple compositing. So yeah, pretty long day hiking and taking pictures. So it's about midnight, and I think it's time to go back to the tent and get some rest so that we can get some all-you-can-eat sushi tomorrow, because that's gonna hit. All right, I'll see you guys next time.